is it empathy? Aha. I always feel other people's pains. I said, well, let me just come back and just help this young woman, and that's why I'm here. How have you been doing? I mean, what did I miss out on? I'm particularly going to ask how Ifechukwu Moile has been for the past 10 days since I was away. You know, seeing that I had nothing to say about his choice of songs. I also came here and I found everything new, everything fresh. And it sort of seems like the first time I started working here when I had to get used to a lot of things. So, courtesy of Constance Mega, I hope that today is going to be a smooth sail while I get used to some of the new things around here. But has Ifechukwu been? I mean, you tell me, how's he been doing? What's up? How's your mind? How's your body? And how is your soul? My name is Denise Awole. Today is the International Day of the Boy Child, and we're going to be talking about raising the boy child in our society. 2 questions, all right? Question number 1 is, what current peculiar difficulties do parents face while raising a boy child? And the second question is, what are you doing differently as a parent to a boy child? You see, there was no pre-existing manual except for how we saw our parents do it. And to be completely honest with you, it may not yield the desired result or the same result. Mind you, each child gender come with their peculiarity. So all of these things in mind, when we come back from the commercial break, we'll start the conversation in full. On X, we're at Nigeria Info PH, and Facebook page is Nigeria Info 90.3 PH.
Anywhere Clara enter like this.
Messages. Someone says, oh, yo, welcome back. Oh, thank you so much. Eli Cora. This one says, Denise, they play. Welcome back, oh. Ifechukwu has been on low key right now from Woji. Why now? I'm going to ask him when I see him face to face. I wonder why I didn't ask him after the news. Okay, so shall we begin our conversation? Like I said, you can join on X at Nigeria Info PH is our X handle, and Facebook page remains Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. Now, let me start by saying this from personal experience and from shared experience. Parenting is not a walk in the park at all. Having children and raising them right without a pre-existing manual except for how we see our parents do it may not yield desired result as we have come to experience. Mind you, each child gender come with their peculiarities. For example, I'm a lady. Ifechukwu is a guy. Jude is a guy. I'm sure when we were children, those of us who were privileged to have been raised with siblings, we had siblings, or we had other people in the house that were all under the guidance of our parents. We saw how they treated us differently. We saw how they would instruct us on things to do differently. And enough of raising girls to be wives and carers of their homes and raising boys to always see themselves as the head, as king. The boy child indeed needs more. And what day can we talk about this? Today happens to be that day. Good enough. Today is the International Day of the Boy Child, like I said earlier, and it is a day set aside to raise awareness of the need to protect the boy from harmful societal influences. And I can understand why. You know, when we look at perpetrators of crime in our society, armed robbery, kidnapping, pickpocketing, internet fraud, corruption, the list is endless. We would usually find boys who have grown to become men. And sadly, even boys who are yet to become men. The other day we were talking about some boys who were involved in some form of armed robbery. They were not up to 18 years of age. Boys who should still be in their parents' homes. I'm not saying that girls and women do not commit crime. No. I'm just saying that most times when we would highlight some of the crimes committed in society, we would usually find the male gender as culprits. So this day is aimed at focusing on the well-being of the boy, including his emotions. What many of us may not pay attention to. You know the narrative, you are a man, be a man, no cry. I experienced that as far back as secondary school when a teacher would flog the girl and would cry. But you see the boy child, they'll be forming no day she in no enter. Meanwhile, indeed, they were feeling pains. Values. And of course, transition into manhood. This boy child is going to become a father, a husband, a leader, a worker in one company, a student, a leader in a community, you name it. So this year's theme is Cool Boys Managing Anger and Aggression. But from the day they are born, little boys are treated differently than their female counterparts. They are picked up less frequently when they are in tears, and they often experience greater distance and reserve from their fathers than little girls do. As boys grow up, they are subject to a range of mixed messages, told on one hand that boys and girls are equal, and shown on the other hand that boys are still granted special privileges in many institutions. And they consume media which is 80 to 90% of the time created for a male audience. Now this goes beyond the religion you practice to on a general spectrum. What current peculiar difficulties do you face as parents raising a boy child? You see, before now, during our time, we didn't have social media. During our time, we probably didn't have some of the things that we have now. So a lot has changed. And question number 2 is, what are you doing differently as a parent to a boy child? Let's talk. The numbers are 0817 923 0002. That is 0817 923 0002. We also have 0817 923 0003. Again, 0817 923 0003. The WhatsApp and Telegram number for your WhatsApp and Telegram messages is 0809 030 6416. Again, WhatsApp and Telegram number 0809 030 6416. Feel free to join the conversation on X at Nigeria Info PH remains the X handle, and Facebook page remains Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. Do remember to turn down the volume of your radio set when you call, and also be audible so we can hear you. A call screener is in standby to take your calls first before passing it on to me in the studio. So when you do call, the first voice you would most likely hear would not be my voice, but of course that of the call screener. I'm looking at the social media platforms to see if I can take any of your messages before the calls are screened. Or maybe I should just start with this call. How about that? Nigeria Info, good afternoon to you and welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm good. How are you doing?
Fine. Getting a boy child is not easy.
Tell me about it.
Okay, let me give you an example now, okay? When you get up in the morning and tell them to do something, it looks as if, you've done the worst thing to them. But just simply tell the girl child to do this thing for you. The girl child will, do it with ease, and you'll be happy with yourself that you have a girl child. As in, what's actually the problem with that? Why is it so? Sorry.
Okay. I was looking at a research some time ago, and it was hinged around some ex-convicts or people in prison. Yes, some prisoners. And the truth of the matter is, when they were asked why they turned out the way they turned out, most of them pointed out to the fact that they didn't have a father figure. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. A father figure not necessarily being their biological father, but not having a man in their life to point them in the right direction. So they were most likely products of either broken homes or they were born out of wedlock. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know if we can carry that narrative here to Nigeria, because that was done abroad. And sometimes you don't notice that even with the kids, both male and female gender, they tend to, when you tell them daddy is coming, they tend to sit up, as opposed to when mommy is telling them do these things. Although I know there are exceptions to that. In some homes, it is mommy is coming that the children used to hear and hear word. I don't know if that answers your question, though, but how have you been handling it, really? Because beyond these challenges, beyond the fact that your boy child will not hear word at first, what have you been doing over the years, and how has it worked out for you, really?
You need to pet him before he will do something.
Pet him?
And they use nice words. If you try to shout on him, that one doesn't work at all.
So for how long would you keep petting him? Because that's the problem. I'm guessing petting him sort of feels like that is how to make him get things done. And then he grows up feeling that way. And I'm sorry to say this, but the last time I had a parent in the studio with me, I think that was the Osiris. They were telling me how they were raising their children differently. And then one parent out there is raising their child differently. And sometime in future, the two of them will come in contact with each other in holy matrimony, and then it becomes a problem. So it means that maybe the wife will continue petting him to get things done, even when the boy child is doing something wrong. Really.
Okay. Well, but like you said, there's actually no manual today. So I don't know. But you just made mention of, so you said something very important. Raising a boy child is strictly a man thing. I don't think it's a woman thing.
Really? So what if for some reason, the man is not there? It could be death. The man passed away. What then happens? You push the boy to where you have boys.
Maybe the uncles now.
The uncles.
I don't know.
See, how many uncles are willing to take up that responsibility? And yes, how sure are you that the said uncles are well equipped? Because you would want to know what these uncles are going to be teaching your son. I have a younger brother, by the way. I have 3 younger brothers. And if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I wouldn't want any of my male children to be raised by these 3 younger brothers of mine. This is because they have a long way to go on their own. They still need raising. So having my boy child go to this uncle, what is the guarantee that this uncle will not teach this boy things that I ordinarily would not want this boy to learn? Hard guy. Be a man. Guy is not supposed to make guy for you. They're not supposed to feel heartbreak, or you're not supposed to feel that feeling of rejection. It's all encompassing, from older than they are to people that are slightly older than they are. You know how a boy child is in the house and the fact is that I'm speaking from my experience. I'm way older than my younger brother, but you see, he still finds it difficult to take instruction from me because in his head, why am I the firstborn? Why didn't he come out first? Why is it not the eldest? And that's the fact. So some of these people cannot even take instructions from people that are not very old. And even with people that are very old, you see the way they talk to them. You see the way they address them. You see the way they do not have regard for them. So how long will petting go? It's on the sunny side, and we're talking raising the boy child in our society. What current peculiar difficulties the parents face while raising a boy child? And what are you doing differently as a parent to a boy child? Azu is calling from Roma Hall. Hi Azu, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
All right. Good afternoon to you. Let's talk.
Yeah, I have to acknowledge that it's not just assumption. I think it's something that is verifiable. It's more difficult raising the male child than the female child. I think from the angle of my own personal experience, I heard, a caller who made the point that the boy child finds it difficult to do certain things because he feels probably the girl child, that the sister, they are supposed to do everything about household chores. There is this seeming arrogance, the boys display in the family. And if you don't show good, maybe this is my first point, the father has to show good example, the way he treats the wife, their mother, and the way he carries himself in the family. If you don't do anything to assist your wife, nobody sees you around the kitchen, your wife cannot beg you to assist in doing anything, you are just that macho figure in the family, your children will go that way. But when your boys see you sometimes helping your wife, when the woman is pressed in the kitchen, like my own children, they know that I can cook. And eat my cook and bring it, and I will tell them, say, look, I learned it in the village under my mom. Okay. My dad, they taught me good things. So by that, they now know that there's nothing wrong for a male child, a boy child to cook. There's nothing wrong for a boy child to sweep. If you don't show that good example, they will grow up with the assumption that the boy is not supposed to sweep, the boy is not supposed to cook, the boy is not supposed to clean the house, nothing. So practical example is crucial, very, 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 very important.
Mr. Azu, can I ask you a direct question?
Yeah, thanks.
Have you ever gone through any emotional outburst recently?
Yeah. And maybe that takes me to another point.
Yeah. Did your boy child witness that emotional outburst?
Yeah. As a father, there are times you have to act quickly, show who you are, why you are a father. Okay. Because if you are that person, if you apply this tender attitude in bringing up the boy child, you may miss the boy child. You have to be firm, but it doesn't mean that you should display seeming cruelty in trying to bring up the boy child. It has to be a mixture of firmness in terms of discipline and also befriending them. Like personally, there was a time I felt that shouting and flogging would solve problems. They grew up to just, to don't withdraw from me. And one day I asked myself a simple question. It will come to a point that age might not enable me to beat, to shout. You get it? And what will I do? So I changed myself. For about 3 years now, my strategies have changed, and they're now my friends. I'm still firm. I'm firm when I have to act, but I now know that it's not all about shouting. It's not about beating. It's not about emotional outburst. It's about befriending them and letting them. Once you get the boy child to tell you certain things he would ordinarily not tell you if you were too harsh, you have got that child.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Azu. 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. Again, 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. Now, It's understandable. See, while the rugged and resilient exteriors boys are taught to show the world often marks the suffering that results from trying to adhere to a restrictive view of masculinity. Research reveals that boys are increasingly at risk due to the unrealistic expectations placed upon them. They're more likely to be physically harmed by peers, more likely to be bullied, more likely to struggle academically, more likely to even commit suicide and acts of criminal violence, and at greater risk of becoming absentee parents later in their own lives. Okonkwo from Rumukuta, welcome to the sunny side. Let's talk.
Good afternoon, Sister Jenny.
Good afternoon to you, Brother Okonkwo.
Yes. To train somebody's boy children or your boy children, it's not difficult. Number one, give them what is called adequate exemplar life as a father in terms of domestic activities. I use myself as an example. I sweep. I wash plates. I help my wife in cooking in the kitchen. If she's cooking, I'll be bringing her cutting vegetables. If she's cooking, I'll be washing crayfish and other things, or cutting onion. So as my children were growing, the boys, they start to show these things. And now, they are doing it because they learned it from me. At times when I want to read, they say, Daddy, you have taught us now. What is the need of you continuing? Let us take the standard you have set for us. And this is a complete, indelible character in them. There's no way they will go to throw it away. And I'm happy that when they marry, they'll put it into practice. Because I learned that from my father. Helping my mother in every damn thing. Number two, outside that can also help in bringing up the boy child. For example, in Igbo land, a boy is growing. Then he goes to another person to serve that person. It could be 4 or 5 or 6 years. Believe you me, that after serving, he will be settled in a big form. 2, 3, this person has become a millionaire or a billionaire. So, thank you so much.
All right, thank you to Okonkwo. On X, I have some messages. At Sunny Best on X says, it's very tough in raising the boy child, especially in teenage stages. Kelsey Austin JW on Facebook says, lack of concentration of the parents. You watch the child. It's very difficult to train a male child. Like me, when even I turn the bad way, my mom will use the rod and correct me. It's not all about the father that can take care of them. The both parents can. Now I can cook. I can buy cooking items without instructions. The parents have the full responsibility. It's very hard to train them in this our society today. Kudos to the parents. Didi, what is happening? When you tune in on the day of the girl child, the discussion is usually what to do for the girl child. Today, that is the day of the boy child. The talk is how the boy child know they hear word and how the boy child doesn't take instructions in the family. Please, let's talk about how to get rid of some traditions that pressure the boy child and the society, like the payments of bride price that is meant for only men to pay. Chief Obum Owim. Chief Obum, you want to take us to India? You want women to start paying dowry? Okay. Well, this is something that's peculiar to our culture. It's what we are used to around here, right? Here, the man pays the bride price. It should be abolished. Men should not pay bride price at all. So what will now show that this marriage has happened? Anyway, good afternoon, Denise. My name is Kinamko Nikabari. In my house, we are 3 boys, and 3 of us are raised by my mom alone because we lost our father when we were very little. But today, we are grown men and well-behaved. So it depends on the boy child to take the instructions given to them by their parents. So away from taking instructions, how about their feelings? Ever bothered why they find it difficult to take instructions in the first place? Some aggressive behaviors known to be portrayed by the boy child. Ever wondered where those aggressive behaviors stemmed from? They say something. They say that some of these things can be tackled from the very, very beginning. Children will naturally throw tantrums. They want something, you deny them, they don't get it. The next thing, they sit on the floor, they will do their legs like and then you say, okay, oh yeah, come now, sorry now, don't cry, come. That's the first instance where they begin to show you how they are not in support of your actions. How did you handle it at that time? Did you let them continue to sit on the floor and say when they get tired, they will stand up? Did you talk to them? So the first time when, they liked somebody and you had to tell them that you cannot be friends with this person. So even the times when they start having feelings of crush for a particular girl. To the times when they experience disappointment because their needs were not met. It begins to build up. Indifreke from Borikiri. Welcome, Indifreke. How are you doing?
Thank you, Lizzie. I'm doing well. Thank you.
All right. Welcome. Talk to me.
Yeah, very interesting program. Now, talking about the boy child. It's very difficult to train the boy child because it's present on his father. Because there are some certain things that the boy child learns from his dad. The father is very disciplined and knows what to do as a parent. Because the mom alone cannot do everything. The parents of the dad has a greater influence on his child. Because as a man, the woman, the mother cannot cater for the boy alone. Apart from the financial aspect, there's the emotional part. As a man, the father will teach the boy how to be a man, to grow up as a man, how to take care of the sisters. If there are those sisters, he has to relate with females around him. So the parents of the dad has a greater influence on the child.
Okay, greater influence on the child. Nemeka from NTA Road. So sorry we lost that call with Nemeka. Please, I would like for you to call back. If you're just joining us, we're talking raising the boy child in our society. And I'm asking 2 questions. What current peculiar difficulties the parents face while raising a boy child? And what are you doing differently as a parent to a boy child? Someone rightly said that he came from a home where they were all boys, no girls. So at that point in time, they never experienced firsthand how to interact with other females and know that females act a certain type of way. Am I right? Yes, that happens. Not having a father figure, not being raised together with females, how it will impact on the child later on. It's only when they come of age they begin to relate with women. What they see their father do in the home, what they see their mothers do in the home. How relationships are birthed and solidified. Remember, the theme for this year is managing anger and aggression. Cool boys. Managing anger and aggression. So it's all encompassing, if you ask me. I mean, in this day and time where I've witnessed a lot of road rages, sometimes you see people act in public and you begin to wonder how they behave at home, or what kind of upbringing did this person get. The final commercial break for this hour. We come back, I read your final messages, possibly take your final calls, and that will be all for this conversation. On the 1 o'clock hour, we'll have trending stories. Thereafter, we'll have a chit chat. The 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock hour, we will have a conversation on hypertension, as we'll be expecting guests in the studio. Stay tuned.